In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Lionel Fastrack remote control switches and how to build extension cords for those switches so that you can position the control lever anywhere you want it on your layout in relation to the actual switch. And we're starting right now. Hi, I'm Owen. 11 months ago, I submitted to Lionel 7 remote control switches that were not working properly. At their request, I sent them back for warranty repairs. Lionel lost those switches. So it took 11 months to get them to ship me replacements. I've now got new switches, and I'm going to be installing 2 of these on my layout today. I received the right-hand switches a little more than a week ago, and I've already installed 3 of those. I've now received the left-hand switches, and I'm going to be installing those. For the right-hand switches, I need to extend the control cables, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to be doing that. The control cables on Lionel's remote control switches contain 4 wires, a red, black, green, and yellow wire. And I'm going to be using these wires to create extension cords for those control cables. In order to do this, I bought these wires in the same colors as the switches control cables have. That's going to help me avoid making any mistakes and getting them connected improperly. So these have to be spliced in to those control cables. One splice has to be made next to the switch itself, and another splice has to be made next to the control lever. So then once I have these extension cords as part of that control cable, I can position them any place I want to on my layout. In this case, I'm going to position them where I have my control table, where I have my transformers and I have my other switch controls. And we're going to be doing that as soon as we get the new left-hand switches in their position on the table. I put 2 of these switches back to back, side to side, so that I can cross over between track 1 and track 2. On one side of the layout, they're right-hand switches. The other side of the layout, they're left-hand switches. When I'm putting those down, there's 4 wires here on the bottom that are connected to the control cord. There's a yellow, red, black, and green wires that connect there. In order to put these on the train table and not have the control cord above the table, I have to disconnect these 4 wires and then fish it up from the bottom of the table and then reconnect it. And that's a pretty simple process. These are just compression fittings that hold them in here, so you loosen the screws, the wires come out easily, and then once you've got them fished through the bottom of the table and ready to connect again, you push them back in and tighten those screws up, and that gets you back connected again. So this is a left-hand remote control switch. This is the control lever, and this control lever throws a switch from one position to the other, open or closed. And that's what I have to get connected onto the side of the table where my control center is. So that's part of the process I'm going through right now. To join the wires together from the wiring that I'm adding to get the length I need to put the control levers on my control table, I'm using these joiners. These are solder and seal connectors, and they're pretty unique. I've been using them on a number of projects, and I'm really pleased with how they work. This is what they look like. Right in the middle here is a ring of solder around the heat shrink tube, and you put the wiring that you're joining together through that little ring there after you've stripped it. So you've got 2 stripped ends of wiring from 2 different sections coming in together in the middle there, and then all it takes is a heat gun to heat it up and make it melt and flow over the bare wires and seal them together. Then the heat shrink tubing shrinks down tight against the wire, and you've got a solid connection. That's what I'm going to be doing next with the control lever for my track 1 switch. And that's the joint. Those are soldered together using solder that requires only a heat gun, not a soldering iron, which is a huge improvement for me, and it makes it so much easier to do the heat shrinking and the soldering all in one step. So there we have it. I put a little electrician's tape on that one just because the heat shrink didn't seem to have tightened around the wire as much as I would have liked. The rest of them I don't think need that treatment, so there we are. My next step will be to get this fastened underneath the table inside a wire loom open weave cable. It's time to run the trains. This is where I mounted the switch controls for the 3 switches on the far side of the layout. The first 2 control the switches that allow the trains to go between track 1 and track 2. The third one controls the switch that allows them to go to track 3, the elevated track. You'll notice that the one in the middle is not lighting up, and that's kind of been my experience with Lionel switches. The lights on the controller only seem to light up about 1/3 of the time, 2/3 of the time, something like that. Here's the 2 switches for crossing between track 1 and track 2 on this side of the layout, and you'll notice there's one there that's also not lighting up. Right next to them is the switch that controls the conductor brakeman shack, and then further over here is the uncoupler switch that allows me to uncouple train cars before I take them up the grade. I put an extension cord on that as well as on these 3 switches, and that allowed me to bring everything over to this side. These other 2 switches control the switches on either end of the crossover bridge. That's connects the one side of track 3 with the other side of track 3. And there's one more switch on the side here, right there, that connects to the switch that allows the trains, once they're coming up to the grade and have made the grade, to get onto track number 3 right there. So that's where we are. I'm going to shut down the lights, and let's see if we can do this in a subdued lighting situation.
Away from the door to allow other passengers to board.
One of the things that I really enjoy is running the trains in subdued lighting. Nighttime or twilight operating sessions, I just find to be a lot of fun, with the lights on the layout providing most or all of the illumination. Well, that'll do it for today, folks. Please like this video by clicking the thumbs up down below, subscribe, and also share it on social media or with anyone else you know who's into modeling. As always, thanks for watching, and Merry Christmas.